This is Chris the Nightmare Riola, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man. So I was looking at this article on BoxingScene.com. Dillian Whyte says that Deontay Wilder is an embarrassment to heavyweight boxing. All right, and just during the article, he's talking about that Eddie Hearn and those guys, they offer Wilder $4.5 million plus the USA TV rights to get in the ring with Wilder and fight him. All right, then also, and I'll leave the article in the description box for you guys can click it, read it, come to your own surmise. It was written by Keith Idec. And Dillian Whyte just talking shit, man. That's one thing I can say about Dillian Whyte. He is one of the best trash talkers nowadays, in my opinion. And also during that article, Keith Idec also wrote that Don King, the promoter of Stiverne, thus far is unwilling to step aside, to take any type of step aside money. So that's the problem right there, is trying to satisfy Bermain Stiverne, Don King. You have to satisfy them. I know a lot of fans, you guys keep telling me that Eddie Hearn has already said that he will try to negotiate step aside money with the, okay, that's cool with what he said, but I also have heard Stiverne say on Baylor Rick TV interview, shouts out to Baylor Rick, and Baylor Rick has probably done the most interviews with Stiverne probably in the world, man. I think he has the most interviews I've ever seen with Stiverne. But when you type in his channel on YouTube, it's going to pop up as BWTM Sports Channel. Go look at any of those interviews from the last few months that he's done with Stiverne. He's done quite a few. Stiverne has kept saying that he's not going to take any step aside money. Now, with that said, money talks, bullshit walks a million miles. So if they can satisfy Stiverne and get him the money, at this point, man, the other fights that me and some of the other fans want, you know, unification, it just seems like those fights they're just not going to take place. Joseph Parker had his own thing with his mandatory going on with Hughie Fury. Luis Ortiz is another fight we want to see. That don't really seem like it's possible. Why not Dillian Whyte? You know, I already has voiced my opinion about this when they were offering him $3 million. Then I said that this fight to me right now makes sense. They should make the fight happen, especially with that much money, man. But a lot of fans are saying, you know, why would Wilder take that money? Even if it's $4.5 million, Charles Martin got more. And what I'll say about that is, yeah, but that fight involved Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Charles Martin was fighting Dillian Whyte. He was fighting Anthony Joshua, who generates that type of crowd, and he has that type of cachet. Just like if Wilder would have stepped in there with Joshua, he'll get way more money. You know what I mean? That fight, that Martin versus, Martin going out there and fighting had a lot to do with Anthony Joshua, man. That's the way I look at that. That's my opinion about it. But yeah, you know, from what I've heard from Stiverne, man, and I'm not making any of this up. That's why I'm telling you guys to go over to Baylor Rick. Listen to Stiverne himself, not reading the article, you know, looking at the article. You could actually see video of him talking to Baylor Rick about he's not taking any step aside money. I mean, just as recently as, not even a full month ago, Baylor Rick did a Google Hangout with him. And whenever he does Google Hangouts, usually I'm in the chat room, you know, in the chat room asking questions. Shouts out to Baylor Rick. He always he always relays my questions to Stiverne, and he'll answer them during the live feed. And I always ask him, hey, man, are you going to step aside? Are you still going to fight Wilder? And it's always the same answer. He's not stepping aside. And yes, Wilder is the next fight. Now I'm hearing end of September. And you guys remember when Stiverne came out, was it like a few weeks ago? He said that the terms are agreed to. Now they're looking at Vegas or New York to stage the fight. And the network they're trying to get the fight on is Showtime. During this interview that Keith Idec wrote, he was saying that a lot of, it's hard trying to sell this fight to TV networks, this rematch. And yes, this is not, look, man, if you guys are asking me who do I want to see Wilder fight in September, Dillian Whyte or Stiverne, I will pick Dillian Whyte all day. All day. I already seen him fight Stiverne. How Stiverne even got the mandatory, your guess is as good as mine. I'm thinking because of the Don King having a good relationship with the WBC. We know that Stiverne should have fought Povetkin. Okay, Povetkin fell through. Cool. Ortiz versus Stiverne should have been the next step. We all know this, man. And WBC just pissed me off, man. Then they just elevated Stiverne as the mandatory. Just fucked over Luis Ortiz, put Stiverne as mandatory, which is bullshit. But I'm at the point now, man, whether it's Dillian Whyte, Stiverne, I just want to see a fucking fight. But it seems as if, man, Stiverne will be the holdup. I know you guys are telling me what Eddie Hearn is saying, but I'm telling you what the mandatory himself is saying, that he's not going to step aside. But if they can make him happy and all sides are in agreement, then hey, let's bring on the Dillian Whyte fight. That is a lot of money to turn down. I'm not gonna sit here in front, man. $4.5 million is a lot of. I don't give a fuck what Charles Martin got. That is a lot of money to turn down. It's a lot of money to turn down, man. Especially to fight Dillian Whyte. Shit, boy, that's a lot of money, man. But again, it could be $15.5 million. If Stiverne says no and fuck the step aside money, what can we really do here? You know, that's the question, you know, that I want you guys to tell me. If Stiverne says no to the step aside money, then what? If Eddie Hearn sits down with Don King and says, we'll give you X amount to step aside, and Stiverne still says no, then what? If he says, yeah, we're going to get a fight. But if he says no, then what? Is Wilder ducking Whyte? If Stiverne says no, I want my title shot, fuck the step aside money. You get what I'm saying here? That's why this is just one of them situations like, look, man, y'all handle this and come back to us as fans and tell us what y'all going to do. You know, because nobody wants to see him fight Stiverne in a rematch. But with that said, though, just because I don't want it and you don't want it, that doesn't mean that Stiverne's he's still the mandatory. You know, and at this point, I want to get this dude out of the equation, man. Being a mandatory, he just shouldn't be the man, in my opinion, because of what the WBC said. They just lied to us when they said that. Remember, you guys, let's rewind back a little bit when the WBC said that. When they rejected Stiverne at first, saying that, no, you're not going to be the mandatory because Povetkin failed his drug test. You're going to have to fight Luis Ortiz first. That's what they told us. There was fucking articles that came out informing us this. And then they just changed their mind. Just mysteriously just changed their mind and fucking elevated the dude. You know, when Stiverne came out and said he has bigger fish to fry during that time, I was sitting there like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? Guess he was right. You know what I mean? So at this point, man, yeah, $4.5 million USA TV rights and all the shit they're offering Wilder. That's ooh, that's a lot of fucking money, yo. I'm not gonna trip, man. That is a lot of money to turn down. But if your mandatory is saying I'm not gonna accept step aside money, I'm not really sure what the man can do. If they can make Stiverne happy, let's get the Dillian Whyte fight. You know, because Joseph Parker unification, that ain't happening. Parker's fulfilling his mandatory. He's going to fulfill his mandatory and fight Hughie Fury in September. So that's off the table. So there's no reason to even look at that right now. Luis Ortiz is a guy that I would want to see fight Wilder before Dillian Whyte, but he's not going to get $4.5 million to fight him. You know what I mean? Damn sure ain't going to get that amount of money. But Luis Ortiz is a dude that I really want to see get his shot first. But Stiverne, though, when it comes to him, I'll way rather want to see Dillian Whyte fight Stiverne. Or Dillian Whyte fight Deontay Wilder before Stiverne gets a shot. But yeah, man, that's the problem. What are we gonna do with Stiverne? Can they offer him enough money for him to step aside? I know what Eddie Hearn said, that he's gonna try to sit down and negotiate and make both sides happy. And the WBC told him that if he can get their side to be happy, that they're happy, that's cool. Just because that was said, it's still the shit still got to get done. So unless they're willing to give Stiverne some money he just cannot refuse, that he just absolutely cannot refuse, that is the fight we're going to see, Stiverne versus Wilder in the rematch. And every time I've heard Stiverne talk about this, man, I'm just telling you what he said himself. He's not stepping aside. So we have to figure out a way to give him enough money for him to step aside. But as of right now, that's what him and